Base model vehicles are cap. Mookie here. Have you ever wondered why, even if you go to purchase a Honda Civic, why there's 6 different types of Honda Civic? There's 6 different trims. There's the EX, EXL, LX Touring, Sport Touring, SI, now Civic Type R. So many options. So many options. Civic hatchback. I didn't even get onto the Civic hatchback. Civic hatchback used to be Civic Coupe. Now there's no more Civic Coupe. They took that away from us, like everything else good in our lives. They just take everything away. Well, if you aren't like me, then you haven't spent so much time pondering this, thinking about it, but you're gonna think about it the next time you go to purchase a vehicle, or you're gonna think about it the next time you're looking at, well, what car really works for me? You're gonna be wondering like, well, I guess price isn't really the big differentiator, but you're going to think about that price. You're going to think about, oh, well, if I want to get a Honda Civic EX, or I want to get a Honda Civic Sport or SI or Type R, that goes anywhere from, or even a Honda Civic could start at $24,000 and end at $50,000 for the highest trim model, which is the Type R. And this isn't just Honda that's affected, or, economy vehicles, vehicles that are lower middle class cars, or vehicles that are under 100,000. This affects every single avenue of the car world. Take the BMW X7 as an example. A completely different car from the Honda Civic. Bigger, meaner, stronger, faster.
I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I'm better. I am better.
We take the BMW X7, that huge monstrous SUV, and from what I can gather, there's 3 main trims. There's the core model, there's the M package, then there's the Alpina, which the Alpina, for those of you who don't really know or don't really check out the car industry, they're not really car enthusiasts, people like that. The Alpina is a design group that works directly with BMW, a few other manufacturers, I can't remember who, but Kevin will put it here, or he won't, because I say he will and then he just doesn't. And the difference between the core model, the M package, and the Alpina, other than the $60,000 between the core model price range and the Alpina's $140,000 price range, other than that, the wheels are different, I guess. There's some embossing on the leather, there's some different stitching, not a lot of crazy difference. Not standard features, not really much of anything, like maybe a screen differentiation sometimes, but with luxury car brands like BMW and Mercedes, it doesn't really benefit them to give like a difference of screen option, a different of infotainment, maybe a Mark Levinson sound system for the people who pay the extra $20,000, whatever it may be, but there's not a large calculable difference between those two vehicles. And back in the day, there used to be a difference. Back before everyone needed a 100,000-mile warranty and Apple CarPlay standard for every single vehicle that comes on the line. Back before people complained about the fact that you can't fall asleep behind the wheel of your autopilot-enabled car, and you're just going to blame the manufacturer for the fact that you stopped driving your car. It's not full self-driving, people. It's not fully robotic, somebody takes over your hands for the wheel and drives it for you. It's you are responsible for that car and you still have to drive it. That's neither here nor there. But it does take me into my point of back in the day, there used to be, you'd pay that $500, maybe even $1,000 more in the 80s and 90s, I think maybe even the late 70s, because you would get an air-conditioned car. That would be the deal breaker. That would be the make it or break it. You'd get the AC, or you'd get like an emerging technology like a sat nav. Some other people, like in high-end Toyota saloon cars or Lexus and BMW and old Mercedes, you get this emerging technology called a phone. Like, it was packed full of emerging technology, things that changed the game. Volvo changed the game by including what's called a seatbelt for a little bit more. They included a 3-point seatbelt harness, which now everybody has to have. Nissan started including seat warmers in the car. I think Mercedes might have done it first, but Nissan made it so it was mass marketly available for people who paid a little bit more to get in a 2006 car or 2010. seat warmers standard with the second trim level. But that's not standard practice to really provide value for something that's not the base model of that vehicle. Now, I said base model vehicles are capped. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that base model vehicles are a lie. Base model vehicles aren't even meant to be manufactured. Base model vehicles are a lie that for some reason every old tit and tailor who pawns off, their entire lineup just of vehicles of too many options. It's too much. We're paralyzed for choice in this day and age. And not only that, but it's already a microcosm of our society that we're just, we have to have the option. We have to have the choice. I like, and I'm always going to be biased in this area, unfortunately, but I like Tesla. Now, Tesla isn't the car company with the least options. They're ramping up more and more cars each minute that they're not giving us. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of options, but a lot of them you can't pick, but that's besides the point. But what I do enjoy is that, like the examples I gave earlier, they offer emerging technology. They offer a new experience when you're willing to shell out the few extra dollars more, but they don't punish you for not being able to deliver on the fact that you're going to go from an $80,000 price tag to a $120,000 price tag. They're not going to make you suffer for getting a Model Y at the $45,000 mark, but instead of getting the $75,000 mark. They're not going to make you feel regrettable or like if only I had some more money. Well, and in that case, buddy, if you can't afford the top trim, so that's another thing. That's a side note. If you can't afford the top trim of the vehicle you're trying to get, you can't afford the vehicle you're trying to get, because the same problems the base model is going to have, it's the same problems the highest trim is going to have. I'll even take it like a step further. Take it from my Honda Civic, right? I used to have a Honda Civic Type R. The base model is a 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder engine. Really tiny, really small engine, small turbo, pretty economical, pretty reliable engine. To the highest trim being a 2.0 turbo engine, making 300 plus horsepower, which is a higher performing vehicle, arguably, right? And it's not that crazy different of displacement between 1.5 and 2.0. What the difference is the engineering, right? You are paying for the luxury of the engineering of the performance. But with Honda, you're also getting the value of the fact that it is a reliable engine. So the same thing that's going to be wrong with the really reliable engine of the 1.5, it's the same thing that's going to be wrong with the 2.0 liter turbo. It may perform better, it may be faster, it may be quicker, maybe better suspension, whatever the case may be. But Honda is Honda. Same thing with the example I used earlier with the X7. The same thing's going to be wrong with the core model that's probably powered by maybe a hybrid 6 or like a V8. I haven't checked to see what the new X7s are really being powered by. Obviously, it used to be 8-cylinder. Now it might be something different considering that everybody's going hybrid. I think the M package is still in a V8, but I could be wrong. If Kevin feels like it, he could put the difference here. Or if there is a difference, or if they're all powered by the same V8.
A few moments later.
Okay, I was partially wrong, partially right. So the core model, or the base trims, I guess, are powered by a 6-cylinder, 3.36 cylinder, and then the larger trims, the M package, and I'm assuming the Alpina, are powered by a 4.4 liter V8. Jesus. Making anywhere from I think 340 horsepower all the way up to 460 horsepower. And now those numbers, it's just a lot of numbers, right? But from the core model all the way up to the Alpina package, M package, because the M package and the Alpina perform about the same. The only difference, again, wheels, maybe the grille. It's a different color. It's black or it's chrome. Who cares?
We do not care.
But the same thing that's going to be wrong with the 6-cylinder is the same thing that's going to be wrong with the 8. And guess what? Oh, well, I want the core model because the M package is too much power, and it's like a 10,000 pound vehicle or whatever it is. It's like 8,000 pounds. That SUV. You think it's gonna make a lick of difference in the gas mileage versus a 6-cylinder to the 8? I'm gonna go 8 because I want the vehicle to actually be carried by this gosh darn engine. I don't want it to be like I'm going in reverse, going uphill in this monster of a freaking car. So BMW, why offer me all those options? If you're gonna offer me different leather and different gloss and a performance package, sure, by all means, offer me a carbon fiber freaking dick holder in it if you really want to. But the difference between the M package, the Alpina, and the core models, it's nonsense. It's manufactured scarcity is what it is. And everyone's being fooled by the manufactured scarcity of the fact that, oh, well, you know, you couldn't afford this one, but we can get you into this one. Give us one. Give us two, maybe. Like for the Honda Civic, for example, I'm going to keep coming back to it because the Honda Civic's one of the few cars that has like the most options. Like any year you go to the Honda Civic has like the most options. Like I said, like go back to, I'd say 2018, right? Go to 2018. There's a Civic, EX, LX, EXL, Touring, Sport Touring. Then there's the hatchback, EX, EXL, LX, Sport Touring, Sport. Then of the same year, you have the coupe. You have the coupe that goes EX, EXL, LX, Touring, I believe. I do not believe there's a sport of the coupe. I'm just spitballing here, but I do not believe there's a sport of the coupe because it even took a while for them to get a sport of the Civic hatchback, because the Civic hatchback, when it premiered in 2017, didn't have a sport model. So all that being said, we're up to 1, 2, EXL, like 13 trims, let's say. Let's cut it down. Let's say 13 trims. Guess what? There's still more to come. Guess what, buddy? Buckle in, because of the Civic Sport or the Civic sedan and hatchback, there's the sedan SI, the coupe SI. That's two more. Now we're up to 14 or something. I can't count. Maybe somebody will put a number here of how many trims there actually are, because maybe there's like 20 already of what I'm on. And now we're not even including the Type R. And then in subsequent years, just before the refresh of the Type R, we got a Type R limited edition. So that's now 2 other Civics. That's like 16 plus Civics. 16 options. You don't need that many options. You don't need that many Civics. I love them all because I'm a big Honda boy. I love them all. I love them all. I'm a big Honda guy. I love them all. But you don't need that many options.
A few moments later.
I just talked about all the options about the Civic or whatever. So many options, too many options with the Civic. Another car company that comes up with way too many options. Freaking Audi. Like, you don't need that many versions of an A3. Give us an A3 and give us an I think there was an RS3. I believe so. Yeah, give us an A3 and RS3, or give us an S3 and an RS3. There you go. Cool. 2 options. You got the cool before. You got the one that's the same engine as the A3, it just doesn't have, like, I think the better leather or the heated and cooled seats. Just give it to them. It cost you $13 to give us heated and cooled seats. What's the problem? Why are we bending over backwards here? Because then you're just producing more models. You're creating more labor for yourself when you could sell more cars with less options. I guarantee you you'd sell more cars with less options. There's a reason why Tesla's performing the way it is. There's a reason why, like, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and 6 are performing the way they do. There's a reason why, like, some of these other cars that are a little bit newer, the Rivian is performing the way it is. I wouldn't speak the same way about Lucid, because Lucid, I feel the same way about Lucid. They got like 6 or 7 different options of the one car they have. You don't need that many options, and they're not any different. Like, the only difference is I think you get like a quad motor or a tri-motor difference. Like, you get one, like another motor difference, electric motor difference. I'm like, what? Okay, who cares? Like, I went from 700 horsepower to the wheels to 1100 horsepower. Who gives a crap? It's all old people who can afford it anyways, who think that it looks good because it looks like an old Cadillac SRS or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't make it a better vehicle just because you offer more stuff. Just offer the Sapphire. Just offer the Lucid Air or the Lucid Air Sapphire, whatever it's called. Just those two. Keep it simple. 2. Model S. You get the S, you get the Plaid. What do you want? You want the S, you want the Plaid. I mean, there's like 2 options for wheels. You go on BMW's website. You go on, no, not even BMW. You go on Porsche's website. You're looking at a Porsche. You're building a 911 GT-R3, GT-RS4 or GT-RS3, and it's just options. 6 different wheel combinations, 47 different flavors of ice cream that you could turn into paint. It's crazy. It's ballistic. Now with a Porsche, like, I get it. Like, the customization of it, it's pretty good, because if you're spending that kind of money, you want it to be exactly yours. I get it. But for the rest of us who can't even afford a $2,000 Acura Integra automatic that sounds like it's about to just choke up and die, like, for the rest of us who can barely even afford that, for me who could barely even afford to try to get this vehicle up and running, the one that I live in, for those of us, we don't need that many options. Just tell us what to buy. Tell us what to buy with the Honda Civic. Give us, I think Honda, they kind of drew back on it. Like, I don't like that they got rid of the coupe. I really like the coupe. I would love to have bought the coupe. I would love to have, like, if and when I ever become successful, if everyone starts hating me enough to put some respect on this channel at all, like, that'd be great. So that I could one day afford a $25,000 car. That'd be fantastic. I'd love to. Thank you. But they simplified it a little bit, right? They simplified it. Recently, there's just I believe the EX, the Sport, and the Touring, or the LX, the Sport, and the Touring. There's like 3 or 4 options. So there's the sedan, there's the hatchback, and then there's the SI, and there's the Type R. So basically 4 options with different trims. I mean, that's still a lot, but the SI is one trim, the Type R is one trim, so I guess it kind of makes up for it. But anyways, base models are cap, base models are a trap. Do not buy a base model. If you can't afford the top tier model of whatever you're getting, if you can't afford the GR Supra Anniversary Edition, and you're trying to go, well, let me get the base model, whatever, like the 4-cylinder variation that they did, go home. What are you doing? What are we doing here? EcoBoost Mustang, what are you doing? What are you doing getting EcoBoost Mustang? Get a 5.0. Oh, I can't afford a 5.0. The EcoBoost is affordable, it's more reliable. It's gonna have the same problems, boss.
Correct!
You're gonna have the same gas problems. You're gonna be spending just as much in gas on the 5.0 as you would the 2.0. I'm gonna tell you why, because you're just gonna whip that thing in the middle of a 4-way intersection in the middle of LA, just like every other moron who has a Dodge Charger and a 2.0 EcoBoost. You're gonna do the same hooning crap, the same LA takeover nonsense. You're gonna do the same thing, you're gonna spend the same amount of gas. Who gives a crap? Get the 5.0. Stop putting fuel on the fire to let them do it. Because of all that, because of the consumeristic ideals that we have, that they're just wanting all these options and munch, all these options, now we have an electric goddamn Lamborghini. And I'll be hopefully doing a video on that one soon when I actually research that car. All I saw is that we got an electric Lamborghini coming out, and I want to kill myself. So base models are trash. Base models are cap. If you want more information, I could do another. I'll probably do another. I want to do another I want to do a breakdown of where I go like through each manufacturer's trims, or like just how many trims. Because I just named a couple, and I know a few off the top of my head, but there's so many. Some of these car companies, there's so many, and then every year they change like 15 trims. Some good news though. Of car we're not going to get 15 trims on that we've notoriously had but we've notoriously had like 5 or 6 trims of the exact same car with like literally no difference other than like appliques and like wheels, and maybe you choose between a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder. But the Nissan Altima, the king of cap trims, the king of cap base models, the Nissan Altima. It's gone, baby. The streets are going to be safer now. I can't wait to not be fearful of being rear-ended by somebody just riding up on the steering wheel like this with the seat all the way in the back seat, trying to just clip everyone's rear end. And then you look to the side as they pass you, and the entire freaking Nissan is just dented to all hell. And you know why? Because they don't have insurance, and they hit and they run. That's why. So glad the Nissan Altima is gone. Goodbye.